Hello, everyone. It might be difficult times at the moment, but work behind the scenes at UEA FC hasn't stopped. Today, I'm catching up with UEA's head of football, Paul Neary, and his assistant, Ray Harrison, who are both busy working from home preparing for the new season. I'm going to be asking them about their reflections on the season that's just been concluded and what they hope to achieve with the club going forward. So, gentlemen, can I have your reflections on the season that's just finished, please?
Go ahead,
Ray. Well, first of all, what a great season we've had. The start of the season, like any season at the university, there's a little bit of a dip due to the holidays at the start, but we pick up as usual. And we have done, and we've done extremely well. There was one point, I think we won 11, 12 games in the bounce. We've got through to the Norfolk Senior Cup final. We've beaten Great Yarmouth, beaten Norwich United to get there. So it wasn't an easy pathway. So overall, apart from the coronavirus, it's been an absolutely outstanding season.
I think for me, Harry Knight's getting nominated to play or represent us for the England universities is absolutely amazing. Seeing him develop and go on to that standard is a credit to him, his teammates that push him to that level, all the coaching staff in and around him, giving him that pathway there. I think he's really good. On top of the results, like what Ray's just said, I think we've had a great season. And obviously, the coronavirus and the health's got to come first, hasn't it? But I think if it wasn't for that, we would be pushing for the promotion slots. So all in all, a really good second season for both myself and Ray and the lads. It's been good.
Good. In terms of games, have there been any particular highlights, any particular games that have been your favourite this season?
For me, Norwich United. I think the quarter-final of the Norfolk Senior Cup was good. And I think not just the result, but I think how we built up to it. The 2 weeks previous, yourself going watching the games and doing the analysis on how they play. And then us putting a plan into place in order to go out there and be successful against them. Considering the league differences where they are to where we are massive, so it was a very big ask, and I think everyone deserves big credit for getting through that game. Really good. Right?
Yeah, just going on from what Paul has said there. Yeah, Norwich United. It was what a game that was. Like I said, 2 weeks prior to that, we put a big, huge plan into place, and the lads perfected it. It was sensational. 10 minutes into the game, I remember me and Paul looking over to their manager and physio, and the physio was shaking his head because he couldn't believe what was happening. I think we had 6-7 shots on goal in the first 4-5 minutes, and then after that, as we were expected, Norwich United started to play their game, and they played it really well. And we battled, defensively, out of possession. The lads worked tirelessly hard of what we worked on, and it worked. It smothered Norwich United. They went to extra time, and then went to penalties, and then there we were through to the semi-final.
So I've got to say, when it goes to penalties, we do really back our lads. Tom's got a save in him. Very good shot stopper, and I think technically we're very good striking the ball. So proved it twice already now. But I fancy us when it goes to stuff like that. I think we've got a good strong mentality towards penalties and towards big games, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
On Twitter recently, the England Combinations Polls account have done a competition to try and decide the best goal of the decade. Quite a lot of them have been UEA goals. Have you got a particular favourite goal that's been scored this season that sticks out for you?
I think for me, how many have we got? We've got 5 out of the 8. Is that right?
Yeah, 5 out of the 8 so far. Yeah.
5 out of the 8 goals of the decade just shows how well we're playing, or how well we can put moves together, or how well we relate our practice to competition in order for them moves to come out on the actual game time. I think one of them was at the end of 10, 11, 12 passes. Flip side of that, one was, I think, was Mo beating 6 players or putting one in from 30 yards, So we've got a very, very talented bunch of players who can then go and produce goals of the decades. If I was to choose one, I think Moore's goal against Ilshin was superb as an individual, and I think the team won. If I'm going to choose two, George Moore's when he were playing last season, sensational, really, really good team goal.
Lovely. And yourself, Ray?
For me, it's the Great Yarmouth game, only because off the back of the Norwich United game, where it was a very, very tough opponents, Great Yarmouth was equally as tough in my eyes. They pushed at us. They went in ahead. We equalised. They went ahead again. So it was very, very tactically from our side to keep in the game for the players was just unbelievable. 2 years ago or last year we might have suffered with that. Not this year. The lads had a game plan. They stuck to it, and then on the back of that, Mo picking up the ball in 30, in the front half, 30 yards for a goal. On his right foot, sweet. The keeper had no chance. Top left bin. It was superb, and it brought us back into the game again. And then extra time, and then penalties. We win final. So for me, Mo definitely.
And what type of goal gives you more satisfaction? A kind of a 30-yard screamer, or a goal that comes at the end of a well-worked passage of play with 15, 20 passes?
15, 20 passes, 3 hours.
Yeah.
For me, it's got to be. I think the sport and movement of your players in and around the person on the ball, to then go and score a goal like we've done, 6, 7 times this season, is definitely more satisfying. I think 30 yards out, and shoot and score, don't you? But for me, definitely. You what?
I was saying that's in essence that's what happened at the Yarmouth game. Really, it came back from Tom in goal, and he played it out to I think it was our left back, and then he took it from one side to the other, switch play, went down the right hand side, 6, 7 passes in, went right through the middle, then to Mo, then he scored. So I think it's about 8, 9 passes that goal at the end. So
in that case, then I like it best of both worlds, where we do play, then score a 30-yard screamer.
Lovely. So something that's been talked about recently is the culture of excellence that you want to introduce formally next season. I wondered if you could just tell us a bit about that and what you think it'll bring to the club.
I think it's been there. Well, since we started, it's been there. But I think now we can make it a little bit more clear for everybody. Now as we've got all the football together, all the coaches working together, it's almost like a set of values and the environment we create, expectations we create of what we want from the players, so they understand fully the norms or the negotiables of what's expected both on and off the pitch. So it's not just about putting on a good session. They've got to put 100% in. Then so it's agreed that they will do that. It's then about taking all the information they can and processing it in the best way they can possible. But understanding that is what's expected. So I think intellectually and socially, psychologically, then it's all glued together with the expectation of what us as coaches put forward for the best thing for the club. But that goes across the club, from our under-12s to futsal to girls to our men's first team. I think with working closely together on that clear set of values and philosophies, then it'll just make it more easier to deliver. And I think once you have a culture of excellence, then that in turn breeds a winning culture. So I think we've done eight trophies there across the clubs, 10 if you include the ladies, which obviously we are doing, and it's important we do that. In just over 15 months. So it's there. Well, let's document it. Let's make sure everyone is on the same page with it. New people coming in across the formats of the game, they'll be new to it, so it'll all be in place, ready for them come whenever the start of next season is. really important that we do that.
And can you tell me a bit about player profiling as well? Plans to do with that, and what that can bring to a player when it comes to moving on?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we understand that the lads, girls are there for a certain period of time. And I think for me and for Ray's roles that's impending, then it's important that we offer these players a pathway for them to go and perform at the best level they possibly can. So I'll give you an example of Henry, an opportunity to go out and trial with the J1 League club through connections that we've got out there, and now that connection is a formal link with that club, it's like a sister club. So it evidences all Henry's achievements throughout the season, all the minutes he's played, his coaching minutes, his if he gets injured, how quickly he returns, how he goes about his recovery. All his reports that we do every 6 weeks will then go forward, and eventually he'll be able to forward this data that we've collected to the club that he goes to, and then he's just got to perform on the pitch, but it'll be backed up with evidence of what he's done over the season, rather than a 90-minute trial. Really important, and that's not just for Henry at a J1 club. That could be for the player who's comfortable at step 5 or step 8 or step whatever. It goes to everybody. So each of the managers, Ian, Trev, will have this sent out to their squads. Then we'll all be linked in, and then I think player development, with what Ray's going to be concentrating on, then he'll be able to monitor them all. Then we can make sure that if you're in the first team, keep your shirt, because we've got evidence to back up that someone was after your shirt now. So it'll also give us competition, which is really important. So it'll
not only help the individuals. Go on.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Paul's been saying there. Obviously, the question just got on the previous question. Since been managing for quite a long time now, and Paul the same. It's not just about managing for me, and I'm sure Paul thinks alike. It's about being a family, and I've always believed in that. Having everybody together as one big family really incorporates what we're trying to achieve. So if you're, as a player, and you've got your manager who wants to invest 100% in you, and not just you, your teammates alike, with everything, going forward, your future, your present, how you want to play, how to develop your passing skills, anything like that, it is massive. So that's what we're trying to do. One big family, if you want to ask us. Bear in mind, it's not just a manager. You're a father figure, aren't you? You're somebody's shoulder to cry on. It's everything. Everything is part of what you want to achieve. So for me, and I've always been like this, even with the RAF club as well, is one big family, and I don't think any team can go forward unless you try and achieve that. Really, you always have to stick together as one big team for any club to go forward, and I think that's what we want to try to achieve here, and I think we will.
I think we've got to be 100% committed, and work every hour under the sun. And to be fair, a lot of the work that we do isn't at the university. It's at home. It's either at Ray's or it's here at ours. Sitting down and talking about players and what's best for that particular player in whatever circumstance or situation we find ourselves in. So it's the commitment from us two, and obviously Ian and Liam in the other teams. But it's that desire to be successful and to get the best out of our players and give them the best opportunity. And I think players don't want to let you down when they see, as Ray says, that we're investing in them. They don't want to lay down, and I think that's shown over the last, let's say, 15, 16 months with results. I think there's definitely been a culture change from when we started, and I think by what we're intending on doing now with the player profiling, with the culture of excellence that we put in the season-long syllabus against our own player development model, I think that will just go to show everybody, just how professional, if you like, then we are going to make it. But we give 100%, and believe me, we do. Players automatically will do the same. So,
yeah. And the season-long syllabus that's regarding the coaching of individual teams underneath the umbrella of UEA football, correct?
Yes. We've got a syllabus that's split up into 6 week blocks. Across those 6 week blocks, session 1, week 1, you've got playing out from the back, for example. So you need to tailor it to your team. Otherwise, we'll end up with robots as coaches. We don't want that. We want their own individuality and personality. Because we've got some good coaches in now with good personalities. It's important that you get the right people in the right areas or the right roles. We've all got to get on. Pardon?
There's room for them to do that under the.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to walk out on the football field and see the same comments or the same set. So week 1, playing out from the back, it might be that you particularly need to work with your defenders, all right, or it might be that actually you need your midfielders to support your defenders when they're playing from the full back, or it might be you need your centre forwards. So you've got three player development models across your units of play. So if, Tony, you want to work with your centre forwards, then you've got that player development pathway there, that these are the targets that you need to hit, or your coaching outcomes that you need to hit in order to be successful to play at the back. Where it might be that mine and Ray's side, we need to work on our midfielders in order to do it. So we'll have different targets or different coaching outcomes within the same session. From that, then we'll sit down with our player profiling and our players and say, right, Tony needs to work on his left foot, for example. So we've got 6 weeks now to manipulate you into situations where you play onto your left foot. All right, 6 week finishes, we sit down. How did we do that? Yeah, do you know what? He's comfortable receiving on his left. He's comfortable tackling on his left hand side. He's comfortable. All right. Well, now we've regained the ball. All right. Can we make a good penetrative pass with your left foot? So next block, can we penetrate on our left hand side? That makes sense.
Yep.
Then we'll go through this the 6 week block phases again.
We help individuals.
And that. Sorry, mate. And that's for the under 12s, girls, futsal. Well, futsal will be technically obviously different, but the same idea. Lads across the age phases.
Okay, so with all that put together, what's your vision for the club's future? Both of you, both on and off the pitch, really.
Who's actually me? Or
both of you.
Go on, mate.
The club's future. So with the 5-year plan that we put in place, it's a lot of work. The players have got to be involved in this. The coaching staff have got to put 100% in. The managers have to. All staff behind the scenes. We've all got to work together for this to succeed. I'm not going to say what's going to happen in 5 years' time. All we've got to look at is day by day, match by match, game by game, training by session by training session. That's all we can do. And then we'll go from there, really.
I think Ray and myself have to believe that we are going to be in this role in 10 seasons, 12 seasons, 15 seasons. We've got to believe that we're there, or we're in our roles for a long time. I think we have to believe that in order to then set the standards or set the culture of excellence that we're going to do. Okay, so for me, ultimately on the pitch, all this hard work that we're putting in off the pitch will ultimately result in us winning. I want us to build on, like I say, the success we've already had in a short period of time. Only this time, I think, going forward, if with the 5-year development plan that we've put in, which is going to grow the club, both on and off the pitch, we've got to be looking for this to give us reward, which ultimately will get then the buy-in from players, the buy-in from external players, you know, to look in or as in to come to university because we're successful. You all right? Are we all good?
Yeah. Ray, did you want to add anything?
Oh, sorry, I do apologise that it all frozen on me, so I didn't hear any of that. So I'm sure it was good though.
what he said.
All I basically said was that we've got to believe we're going to be here in 10 years' time, 12 years' time, and we're going to build on what we're doing off the pitch to make it on the pitch to ultimately be successful across all the clubs. He needs to sort his internet out. Go on, next question.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, I'm not telling you again. You have to watch it back.
So we've looked forward. Now can we just have a quick look back? Of course.
Sorry, mate. Look at Sturton. He's frozen like that. Go on. What are you saying?
Oh, there we go. I've got you back.
Oh, right. I was just saying. I'm not going to repeat for the third time. You'll have to watch it back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So we've looked forward.
You've missed like 5 questions.
No, I haven't. Actually, when you started speaking, I pressed mute. Joking.
Yeah.
So we've looked forward for a bit. Now can we just have a quick look back? In September, of course, it'll be 2 years since you both came to the club and came to the university. I'm guessing with the trophies that have been won and the progress that's been made, you must be satisfied with your first 2 years. Yeah.
Satisfied with the results? Yes, of course. Now we've put this development plan in place. Fantastic. Now we've got to deliver on what we've set in motion. So yeah, happy.
Ray as well.
Yeah, delighted. These past 2 seasons, I've got to be honest, have been superb, haven't they? But also, we've got to reflect on the losses we've had as well. Me and Paul, once the game's finished, we still go back and reflect on the game from the Sunday right the way through to the Friday. From what's happened in the previous game, planning for the next game. We kick every ball, every header, every pass, every shot. And we reflect on everything. So we have to look at the losses as well. We can't just think of the wins. We got to prepare for the losses and work on why we lost, how we lost. So yeah, there's a lot. It's not just the wins for me and for Paul. So yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? The defeats are the ones that stand out. Now you asked me before about goal of the season or whatever it is. The games that stand out for me is the cup final that we lost in the last 8 minutes on that artificial pitch. Pardon?
Against Leicester, the Bucks Cup final.
Yeah, the Donfrost Trophy against Caistor. We've run a full side out there. Well, we beat them 4-0, didn't we? So, they're the what ifs. So yeah, it's. Ray's right. Ray's 100% right. It's the defeats that I think motivate you for success. It's difficult because I honestly believe that we are the best side in the Angling Comp, without a doubt. With a full squad out, we were the best side in the Bucks League, 100%. But I think for us to go forward, we've got to believe we're second best in order to become the best, so we don't become stagnant. I think that's really important. So reflecting on defeats, as he says, is huge. Really good.
How much do you think the publicity that the club has gained over the last 2 seasons for their Senior Cup runs, appearances on BBC Radio Norfolk, in the local press, in the student newspaper, that kind of thing, how much do you think that's helped the club, and how much do you think that will help the club going forward?
Do you want me to answer that, Paul?
Oh yeah, let's go ahead.
Great coverage. I mean, don't get me wrong, every club likes coverage. Of course they do. Helped along the way, brought in some good crowds. Great to have ourselves over Twitter, all over Norfolk Radio, all over the internet. However, you know, yeah, we've got to the final of Norfolk Senior Cup, but we've got to win it. We lose this, 3 months' time, we've forgotten about, aren't we? We're just another team. So, yeah, great coverage, but nobody comments on a second place, do they? So we have to think about going forward, which we are talking about. I mean, don't get me wrong, get to the final. We made history, which is fantastic. We're not, I don't mean to sound big-headed or for Paul to be big-headed as a club. We're just enthusiasts. We just want what's best for the team, what's best for the club, and we know where we can go. We know where this team can go. We know where the players as individuals can go. But we have to succeed to go forward. So, yeah, great coverage, but there's a long way to go yet, in my eyes.
Yeah, I think it's right. And I think also it's all very well getting through to Norfolk Senior Cup final, but it's what do you do after that? You know, are you just happy with that? Like I said before, are you just happy with it? Or do you look to push on again and push on again and push on again? And if you are looking to do all that, then how do you do it? So for me, it's great that we're on radio and Twitter and Ancon polls and all that kind of stuff, but you need to make it last. And I think longevity of a successful team is what makes a good team, isn't it? It's what makes a team remembered, I think.
Yeah. So just a couple of quick ones to finish off with. UEA Sports Awards, the shortlists were announced today. The club's been shortlisted for the Progress Award for participation, for performance, I should say, and Local League Team of the Year. Of course, it's not the club's primary motivation, but it must be nice to be recognised and nominated for awards like that in the university. Yeah,
of course it is. I think any, whether it be a player, whether it be a team, the club as a whole, coaches, you know, whatever it is, I think, you know, anything like that can only be good for the club as a whole. So fingers crossed that, you know, they go on and they win the award. I think it's deserved. To be honest, you know, we've done really well with a fresh set of players. That a lot have stepped up from the third team, second team into the firsts. And to be fair, that's what we inherited. A little different next season, or you know, we only lose one player, which was thought about. To be honest, that was manipulated by ourselves. So yeah, it can only be good for us all, and you know, good luck, and hopefully we win the award.
And in terms of the other sides of the club, futsal obviously narrowly missed out on their league title. They've had a great season, particularly the women as well, getting promoted in Bucks again. Can you just comment on how pleased you are with the job that Ben Woodruff and Sam are doing with the women's side of the club, really?
Superb. First and foremost, top lads. The good lads. Good communicators, which is really important from me to them. They check on board, they listen, which is great. And what they've done has been superb. Gone through a little bit of turbulent time at points over the last months or so. So you know, they get the reward now, and like I say, it's thoroughly deserved. Again, work really hard. You know, and sometimes you get out what you put in, don't you? And it's good. It couldn't be more pleased for them. Obviously, it reflects on us all, doesn't it? So you know, we win together, we lose together, and all that. Especially now. So it's good. Yeah, really, really pleased for them. Deserve it. It's good.
And to both of you, really, in terms of looking at other clubs and looking at examples of good practice elsewhere, obviously you've both been involved in a number of different clubs and organisations over the years. How important is it to keep looking and keep innovating and keep seeing what you can bring in at UEA to push us on as a club in terms of coaching methods, in terms of infrastructure, everything really?
Massive. I'm yet to see the complete team or the complete coach or the complete coaching team. I think you'd be a bit of a mug to think that you are there with it. I think there's always new things coming out. I think the trick is to spot something that's either you don't have at your club or you need to improve at your club. Spot that, but then manipulate it to suit your needs, suit your players. So I'll give you an example. If I'm doing the under-12 session with Ben or Ian or whoever it is, with the greatest respect and the will in the world, I perhaps wouldn't do a Real Madrid under-12 session with the UEA players. So I might take the session idea, but then tailor it to our players. So I think it's really important to be honest and open about where we're all at.
Ray, you'd agree with that?
Yeah, God, we have been all over. Like I say, Paul's been obviously a lot more than me, managerial wise and coaching wise. He's taken stuff from Manchester United, where he's worked out a long time. He's worked at Real Madrid. He's at Man City. So yeah, we take things from that. We take things from low leagues. We take things from teams that we play against. Of course we are. Every team does the thing. You can never get, in my opinion, a perfect mould of a team. You can't. You've always got to learn them, and there's always bits that you can take from to strive forward. And I think that's with every club in the world. You're never going to have your perfect team. There's always stuff to learn, definitely. But overall, yeah, I agree with Paul.
I just want to quickly, actually, you mentioned the under-12s and the youth setup that we're trying to build at the club. How important is that both for expanding the club and also for community outreach and that kind of thing as well?
Again, I think it's huge. I think you mentioned before about publicity. I think it's a vicious circle. The more successful you are on the pitch, and we are at the minute, the more people want to be involved, the more people want to be part of something which is successful. Likewise, once we develop the off the pitch from the first team, if you like, so essentially our academy, once we develop that, then we've in essence creating our own players for when they start the university. Start with the pathway, won't it? Because we'll be selling the university as first and foremost an education provider, because they've been in amongst it since 12 years old. She talks about looking long term and believing that we're going to be here in that long term. We get a boy turning up at 12 years old. He's got 6 seasons, hasn't he, to get ingrained in our core values, our principles. He hits the ground running, doesn't he, at 18 when he starts his university. So homegrown players is probably the biggest thing that we can do. And yeah, it's going to take time. But you fast forward 6 years, the amount of pride and how good that feeling will be when you see one of these young men pull on the shirt, and I believe it can happen, and I think it'll be really, really good for the club as a whole. Well, for the university, I think it'd be sensational, really.